Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible to you all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
in the previous class, we have discussed about course policy document, and I have made you the same also. I hope everybody has received it. Now, today we will start with the basics of computer system, that is introduction to computer system. So here we will see what is hardware, what is software, what is CPU, what is compiler, and so on. Okay, so just to know the basics. So this is the basic computer architecture. In this you have input output devices, memory, and then CPU, central processing unit. So within CPU you will have control unit, ALU, that is arithmetic logical unit, and then registers to temporarily store the data. Then we have memory that we have bifurcated into main memory and the secondary memory. The main memory, secondary memory is used for enhanced data. And then we have input devices. Input devices may be your keyboard, your mouse, your scanner, your joystick, etc. Okay. And the output devices can be your screen in which you are looking your PPT, that is display, the printer or speaker through which you hear my lecture. So you are using a speaker either or a headphone. So it is coming through a output device. So this is the basic structure of computer architecture. So different components like CPU, memory, input output device are being connected through a bus. So they cannot be an individual isolated component. They are interconnected, and they are interconnected using bus. So basically, if you talk what is bus in a layman term, so wires that connect these components with each other. Okay. Any doubt? Architecture is clear.
Yes, sir. Clear.
So, what is the use of ALU?
Okay. So if you perform 2 plus 3, for example, A plus B. So this is a arithmetic operation that you are going to perform. So all the arithmetic and logical operations are being controlled by ALU, arithmetical logical unit. Okay, clear?
Yes.
CPU क्या होता है? What is CPU? Have you seen the CPU? Anybody can answer? Have you seen the CPU?
Control processing unit. So,
Yeah. Have you seen the CPU in your
Yes, sir.
system?
Yes,
Where
sir.
it is? Where it is?
so beside the desktop.
Uh, beside the desktop?
Sir, it is the chip that is like the brain of the computer,
In
which
motherboard.
Yeah, that is located into motherboard, and
Okay.
fan is pointing to that chip. आपने फैन देखा है ना? आपने कैबिनेट का भी खोलिए तो फैन जो पॉइंट
सर वो हीट सिंक
Yes.
वाला जो फैन
Yes.
रहता है
हाँ
उसी
Processor
के
fan.
वो उसी पे टारगेटेड रहता है. Okay, so that is CPU. Now we have two basic component in the system. One is hardware and another is software. Okay, so when you open your system, whenever you have seen somebody has opened, or you might have opened your system, then there are different component included, and they are almost connected with the motherboard. Like RAM is there, ROM is there, hard disk is there, your graphics card is there, your CPU is there. Okay, so all these are individual component or individual hardware. Okay, you have hard disk. This is individual hardware. You have ROM hardware. You have RAM hardware. You have input devices like keyboard and mouse. This is a hardware. So computer hardware is a collection of physical elements that constitute a computer system. But these are individual hardware. Keyboard is an individual hardware. So when using it into a system, you have to interconnect those things. Okay. So example of hardware are monitor, mouse, keyboard, computer data storage, and hard disk, system unit, graphic card, sound card, memory, motherboard, chips, etc. All these are hardware. Okay. So what is software? Software is a computer software, or simply software is known as computer program, is a non-tangible component of computer. Non-tangible, what do you mean by tangible and non-tangible? Anybody?
We
Okay.
can touch and not.
You cannot touch it, correct.
Yes,
And tangible, you
that
can
we can
feel it.
touch.
Physical
Hardware.
form.
Yeah, you can feel it. If you are not able to touch it, at least you can feel it. There is something.
Hardware is tangible.
Yeah, hardware is tangible. So basically, non-tangible and tangible is, if you can feel something, then it is tangible. I mean, you can feel like you have a building of three stories by looking into it. A three-story building is, this is tangible. You can touch it, you can feel it. Okay, but software are non-tangible. You cannot feel them, and you cannot see them. Okay, you cannot see how operating system looks like. You know this is operating system. आपको ये दिखता नहीं है कि हाँ वो ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम कैसा है, आप उसको टच नहीं कर सकते. Okay, so the basic difference between software and hardware is tangibility. So hardware is tangible, software is not tangible. So it represents the set of programs that govern the operation of computer system and make the hardware run. So the basic example of hard software can be, what we are doing, we are using operating system. Without operating system, your system will not be able to operate in an efficient way. Okay, so the first thing after the purchase of any of the computer, that is desktop or either laptop, so after purchase, what you do, the first thing is you install the operating system. सबसे पहले आपको ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम डालना पड़ेगा. Okay, so what is operating system? It controls the different component of the system, that, and I'm referring system as computer. Okay, how to make the communication, how to have resources in different portion, and all those things are being controlled by your operating system. Your system will run on a particular operating system. Okay, so computer software contrasts with computer hardware, which is a physical component of the system. So simply it is saying computer software contracts with the computer hardware. So computer software is not, which is not physical component of the system. So one major example is operating system. All computer requires an operating system. Whatever operating system, Windows, Linux, Mac, or any other new operating system it is available in the market, all those are required for the system to operate efficiently. Then we have types of software. So softwares can be of different types, like system software, application software, or specific purpose software. System softwares are being used to control operation and extended the processing capability of computer systems. So example of this system software is operating system. compiler, assembler, etc. Okay, so what it does, it controls the operation and extends the processing capability of the computer system. Then application software, like we use Microsoft Word, we use PowerPoint presentation, we use Excel sheets. All those are application software, which is designed for user specific need. Then specific purpose, that those are custom built according to the requirement of the user. So within industry, what we do, IT industry, we used to build custom built solution for our clients. So basically that comes under specific purpose.
Sir,
Huh.
sir,
Yes.
these 4G and 5G bands are software based or hardware based?
What I'm unable to get your question.
4G bands, nowadays 4G bands and 5G bands are hardware based or software based?
I'm not clear about that. 4G bins, I have to check what is it. Okay. Just
Okay,
hold
sir.
for a second. There is a call. Just hold for a second. Okay, okay. Now it's audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so this slide you haven't heard anything, huh? So I'll repeat it now.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So first thing that we have talked about is operating system. So operating system we all are familiar with because we almost everybody might have seen either a system or a laptop, or they might be using it also. So the first thing that we install in the system is operating system that governs the components of different components of the system. The operating system can be Windows, Linux, Mac, etc. Then we have compiler. Compiler translates the high level language to machine level language. We have compiler. We use compiler while compiling the C program. Okay. So what does it does? What is the work of it? So we write the codes like printf, scanf, etc. So what it does, it convert these statements into machine level language. Okay. Whatever we are writing is
Binary.
yeah. What is it? Yeah, tell me.
Sir, what is the difference between high level language and low level languages?
We can talk about mnemonics. You are from EC background. You are going to work on this microcontrollers also. 8085, 8086, ARM controller, etc. So they works on mnemonics or based on the pins. So when you code the program or when you try to do that on those microprocessors, then you need to code that into their own language. For example, earlier mnemonics were used. Mnemonics means if I say and get represent 1 0, or get represent 1 1. So whenever you require and get, you have to write 1 0. Whenever you require or get 0 1. So similarly, these sort of language are low level language, and to program or to code something on those low level language was a tedious task. Just to print something on a screen will require n number of lines of code. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So gradually we are improving ourselves. Earlier the coders were paid were highly paid, and the number of lines of codes were enormous for a small basic task also. So nowadays it has changed. Now we have different other languages also. So once you complete this C programming, in the later stage of your BTech, you might come up with MATLAB or Python. In that, you will find a lot of things are more easier than what you have done in C. Okay. So gradually we are moving to our comfort level. So this is the task. Then next is assembler that translate the assembly or low level language to machine level language. Then we have loader, which loads the operating system part and object program into main memory for execution purpose. We have bootstrap loader. So once you press the on button into the system or the power button, the first thing that bootstrap will do is it load the operating system into the computer. Then linker, which binds the code of source and library file to make executable programs. Then we have editors, which are used to write a program. For example, if you have downloaded these code blocks, then code blocks will come with two options: install only IDE or with compiler also. Okay. So IDE is basically the place where we used to write the code, the window on which we write the code and execute the code. Okay. So then we have translator. Translator converts one language into another. The example of translator is compiler, assembler, or interpreter. Then we have macro processor that replace symbolic meaning into equivalent code, which is also called as preprocessor. And then we have interpreter that translate the code from line by line from high level language to machine level language. So the basic difference between compiler and loader is, sorry, interpreter is compiler compiles the program as a whole and interpreter compiles the program line by line. Okay, one line, then another line, then another line.
Sir,
Yes.
so why do we use more and more languages? Means different languages. We have many languages, C++, Java, and other languages.
Yes. So, yeah.
So why are we using different languages for different purposes? We have the same language.
Mhm. Okay. The answer behind this is, so let me give you very basic example. So when the engines came to market, for example, engine, so they were two-stroke engines. Then gradually that evolved. People have designed four-stroke engine. Then gradually the things are evolving. New techniques are coming. In a similar way, if you talk about EC department, you have different microprocessors, 8085, 8086, ARM, etc. Gradually they are coming. Actually, the issue is as your requirement changes, or it is dependent upon the requirement, one thing. Second, what the market needs at that time. So when in 1990s, these all languages have evolved, like C, and after that C++, after that Java, and so on. So gradually these languages have evolved. So C doesn't have the object-oriented programming concept. Okay. So to have the object-oriented programming concept, we have designed C++. Okay. Then C++ has its own drawback, few of the drawbacks. To solve those drawbacks, we have designed Java. After Java has come into the market, the market of IT industry has boomed because Java code can run on cross platforms. After that, new languages are coming. Okay. So if you say like why only one language is not there, so it's in the same way I would say why only one car company is not there. We have Hyundai, we have Maruti, we have MG Hector, and all those things. And different companies will have different models also. So it depends on the requirement of the user. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is why different languages are there. So different languages have their own benefits and they have own drawbacks also. So this is why we
And
have.
sir, you said about the C++ that it has pointers and libraries. So
See, in C we have pointers. In Java we don't have. The concept of pointer is not there in Python also. Okay.
C++.
I think C++, I haven't used it for long, so I have to check. But I think C++ do have. I'm not sure. I have to check it. I haven't used C++ from a long time. Okay, so we'll move forward. Then we have talked about central processing unit, that is CPU. So a central processing unit, CPU, is the hardware within a computer that carries out the instruction of a computer program by performing the basic arithmetic, logical, and input-output operation of the system. CPU is combination of ALU, that is arithmetic logical operation, and control unit, that is CU. So ALU, it performs all arithmetic calculation and takes the logical decision. For example, A plus B equal to C, or C equal to A plus B. And if C equal to this, then go to this statement. If C equal to value of C is this, then go to that statement. So all these operations can be performed in CPU. It manages and coordinates operation of all other components of the system. It tells the computer memory, arithmetic and logical unit, and input-output devices how to respond to the instruction that have been sent the processor. Okay.
Sir, can you
Ah.
explain the previous slide? 7th number slide.
This one,
Yes, sir. What is this?
registers. So as we have seen here, we have registers in CPU that store temporary or output of the results. So a component that is inside the central processing unit for storing information. For example, if you are executing a program, in that you are using different variables, and the output of those, for example, C equal to A plus B. So output where you need to store those data into somewhere. A equal to 10, B equal to 5, C equal to A plus B. All this data 5, 10, and the result of A plus B has to be stored somewhere. So that are being stored in the registers
Okay, sir.
while we are executing the program. Okay, so we have seen bus and bus system. So in computer architecture, a bus is communication system that transfers data between components inside a computer or between the computer. Inside the computer means between, for example, you need to communicate between two components that are hardware within our desktop, and transfer data between components inside and or between the computers. So we can connect two computers through a wire, and the data from one computer can be sent to another computer. Okay. This expression covers all related hardware components, wire, optical fiber, etc., and software, including communication protocol. So TCP/IP protocol and all those protocols we are going to study in, because we are in the electronics and communication department in the coming semesters. Okay. That can be parallel, connection can be parallel or serial. Parallel connection, basically wire connection that we do in electricity wiring connection that we do in our houses. Okay. From the central point, we have parallel connection for fan, for light, etc. Okay. So any confusion till now?
No, sir.
No, sir. Okay.
No, sir.
So we have memory units. So memory units is a storage unit for processing data and information that holds instruction and data that need for program that are currently running. So we require memory. The memory basically RAM, ROM, hard disk that we have in our system. Okay. So it can be of two types, that is primary main memory or secondary storage. So what does it does? Holds? It holds the content. For example, you have copied some study material and you want to store in your system. So that is basically being stored in your hard disk or any other secondary storage devices. Okay. So memory can be classified into three. That is random access memory, RAM, ROM, and another is secondary memory. So random access RAM. Random access memory, RAM, stores the current program or data. It stores temporary data of the current program. So whenever you buy a system, now one of the specification of purchasing any desktop or laptop is how much RAM do the system has. Okay. जब भी आप नया सिस्टम लेने जाते हो आप बात करते हो इसका रैम कितना है. So why we talk about RAM? Why it is that much necessary to talk about the RAM while purchasing any system?
Because it process data more faster if we buy something bigger ones.
So the
Sir, we
temporary
can run simultaneous programs all at once if the amount of RAM is greater.
correct. So the first two lines says stores current program or data. So whatever is under execution is being stored in RAM. Okay, and stores temporary data for the current program. So whenever you are executing n number of things, the temporary files will be created. All those temporary files will be stored here. Okay, so as if you have RAM of less capacity, then you might face the challenge of either lagging or some of the programs would not be able to get executed. So, and that cases are like if you are doing big data analytics, where you are processing a data that is of hundreds of GB. So that case, you require a lot of computation power from your computer as well as storage allocation. Okay. Or if nowadays a lot of people have the habit of playing games online or offline. So in those games also they describe like you should have this much of memory capacity RAM to play these games because the GUI content and other content would not be that feel good for you if your RAM is low. Okay. So, but in normal operations, like if you want to just do a basic things like doing work on Excel, Word, creating PowerPoints, basic programming on C, etc., then you don't require that much of high-end capacity of the RAM. But if you are working with big data analytics and other things, then there is a requirement that you should have a higher end RAM. Then we have read-only memory ROM. So RAM is also volatile. It is having less space as compared to secondary storage. That is, we say like hard disk. Now, so hard disk now it's coming 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, and all those things. But the RAM is still 2 GB, 4 GB, 8 GB. Okay, that is why we say less space in comparison to secondary storage system. So in our desktop or laptop, our system will have a configuration of like 4 GB RAM and 1 TB hard disk. So that is the comparison is here we are talking about. Okay. Then it is volatile that data loses on power off. That is if I press the power button right now, so the content that is there in RAM right now will get lost. Okay. Then comparatively more expensive, that expensive is in comparison with the secondary storage. So hard disk or RAM ka price ka comparison. And this is fast in operation, yes. Then we have ROM. ROM is used for storing programs that are permanently resident in the computer. So whenever we press the power button, so what we want the operating system. The first thing to be done is operating system is to be loaded onto the system. So the ROM is responsible for that the ROM portion of the main memory is needed for storing an initial program called Bootstrap Loader. Bootstrap Loader is to start the computer software operating when power is turned on. Okay. Now we have secondary memory. So what I suggest you is you should look into one thing. What do you mean by volatile and what we mean by non-volatile? What is volatile? Any answer?
Reactive, very quickly. It can react.
Okay. Here in this context, what we are saying, volatile means if we switch what I've said, like if we switch on the off the computer, then the content of ROM will be lost. So that is why it is volatile. Power off किया, उसमें जितना भी data था lost हो गया. Non-volatile means the data is stored in hard disk. We switch it on or switch it off, the data is there. Okay, the context is clear. If you have, if I have stored something like any study material into my hard disk, so it doesn't matter if I switch it on or I switch it off, it would be there in the hard disk. System में बंद करूं खोलूं उसे उसको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. So content retained while power is off. Hard disk drives are most common that records data magnetically or circular disk or provide fast access to large amount of data. USB flash memory devices, which has high capacity device plugs into the USB port, portable, reliable, and fits easily in the pocket. So we have USB flash memory devices also, which we can use into our systems. So the secondary memory devices are hard disk, CD, DVD, pen drive, removable hard disk, and any other new development that has happened in current terms. Okay. Then we have input and output devices. So input device, basic input device is keyboard, mouse. Okay. So that accepts the data and instruction from the user for from another computer system. So can be scanner also, it can be joystick also. The example like mic also, I'm giving some input to the system from mic. So it accepts an instruction from the user or from another computer system. Output devices, basically the screen that we are looking. So one of the output devices is this. Then we have printer, monitor that I have told you, like we are looking into monitor for this PPT. Then speaker, and then input output devices. I feel there's no much doubt in most of the batches. So up till now, the things are clear to you, the components of the architecture of the computer.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So once this is clear, so we will come to the classification of programming languages. So classification can be like high level language, assembly level language, and machine or low level language. So on the bottom, we have hardware. Hardware like we can have hard disk, we can have RAM, ROM, CPU, and other components. Then we have machine languages. So machine language are those languages which different components are understanding. Component understand the things in machine language. Okay. Then we have assembly level language, and then we have high level languages like C, Pascal, C++, Java, Python, etc. Okay. So machine level language are machine dependent, and it's represented by zeros and ones because our system or a computer understand only binary codes. Binary codes means either zero for on, off, one for on. Okay, then we have assembly language. The machine, it is machine dependent. It uses mnemonics. So mnemonics can be like for AND gate, we are saying 1 0. For OR gate, it is saying 0 1. So these are mnemonic codes. Okay. Then we have high level language, which are machine independent. Okay. And it uses expressions like which are more familiar or more familiarly looks like we are using spoken language like English. Okay. Like printf. So printf itself says like you are going to print something. Scanf itself says like you are going to fetch something. Okay. But this is not the actual code. That code has to be converted using compiler. Okay.
Sir, hello.
Yes. Yes.
Sir, I wanted to ask you that C, C++, and all are programs, or they are languages which help us to which helps to
These are
convert
languages.
language. Sorry.
These are languages.
Okay.
C,
Okay.
C++, Java. Okay. Okay. So we stop it over here itself. So if anybody has any doubt, you can ask questions. Rest, who wants to leave the session, you can leave the session.
Sir, I want to ask you that like Code Block is a program which helps us to convert high level language into machine level language, right?
It's a platform.
It's a platform. Okay.
Yeah. Online platform, or you have downloaded it. So it is a platform on which you are able to write and execute the codes.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Sir, you said that compiler translates high-level language to machine-level language for the entire program, while assembler is something that works line by line.
Yeah. एक
So,
लाइन को पहले कन्वर्ट करेगा फिर उसको
sir,
चेक करेगा. हाँ.
sir, so do these work together as I write a program on, let's say, Code Block, and I build and run it? So, will these work together, or is it something?
No. We compile the program.
Yes.
In C we compile the program. Okay.
So shall we leave?
Yes, you can leave. Yeah, I told you, like, those who have any question, they can stay. Otherwise, you can leave.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir,
Thank you, sir. Happy Diwali.
Yes.
sir,
Happy Diwali. Yeah.
I have joined late, sir. I have joined today only, sir. Can you please share what happened in the last
We
4 days?
have just discussed the course policy document, and I have mailed that document to the students. If you want, either you can ask them to share with you, or else I will share it with
Okay, sir. So can you
Happy
please share
Diwali, sir.
you. Happy Diwali.